Welcome, Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda. Thanks for stopping by. Today's Funfold Friday craft fair edition is going to be this door hanger, and you could put hot cocoa in it. I happen to have apple spice cider packets in the house, but you could do seed packets in the spring. And I'm showing you here that if you use an 8.5 by 11 sheet instead of an 8.5 by 12 like I talk about in the instructions, then you end up needing to cover that front, and you'll see the color of the back of that paper on the inside. Not a big deal though. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that. If you have, you can still help me out by liking the video and commenting on it. Thank you. For today's project, I am using papers, or at least colors, from the Wonderland collection. And then I also have these stamp sets and thin cuts that I'm going to use. First one was the Heartfelt wreath that you saw. And then somebody had asked about how I store my dies, so I was just showing you my notebook. And then this is an old, close to my heart, snowflake set. And then of course this is the Build a tag that's new right now, and I'm just showing you that it's kind of nice in that those little tags can go over top to reinforce the openings on your tags. And then I'm also using the shaker element stitched edge, and it doesn't have to be the stitched edge, you could just do the circle, but I'll end up using that stitched edge frame on a different project. So this is the silver foil paper, and I didn't want to leave it on screen because it's really a mirrored image and wreaks havoc with the camera. So here's the sizes of the pieces you need. Your base is 8.5 by 12, and as I said in the beginning, you can do 8.5 by 11. Just know that you're gonna have just paper covering the very front edge. It won't be a solid piece of cardstock. So your back piece is 3.5 by 7.25, and then your front is 3.5 by 2.75. Your two side pieces that I just showed are 2 by 2.75, and you do need 2 of those. And now I'm going to show you how to do the scoring. So in the portrait mode, you're going to score 1/2 inch and 2.5 inches from both sides. So I don't have a full 12-inch scoring board. Mine only goes out to like 7 inches, so I just do this from one side, flip it around, and do the other. So now with it the long way on the board, I'm going to score at 4.5. You can just go all the way through, but because you don't end up bending the cardstock there, it's the back of the door handle where the circle is cut. Just to make it not have a weak point, I just go from either side up to the center lines, you know, the scored edges. And now I flipped it around, and I'm scoring at 2.75 and 4.75. But if you want to do the whole edge, you can see the measurements on the screen. I went ahead and took a gel pen so that you could see those actual score lines, and everywhere that there's a hash mark, you're going to cut that out. So from both sides going to the first or the second score line, I should say, you're going to cut from the long ends right into the middle, and then you're going to cut out anything that has the score marks on it, which are the 4 corners and then one extra little piece. And keep in mind, if I'm going too fast in the explanation of these videos, you can slow down. YouTube is great in that not only can you pause the video, but you can actually slow the playback down. So there's like a gear somewhere on your screen, and if you click that, it's a tool or a settings, and you can change playback setting to like 0.5, which would slow it down to half time. So you have those options. So then I cut out all of those scored marks, and now I'm just kind of trimming up on the 2 smaller flaps. I'm basically making some relief and just cutting some little slivers off of the edges so that the box will fold better. So here I'm kind of just looking, I'm showing you that that's the back panel that's gonna be the pattern paper. But before I glue it down, I've decided I wanted to ink all the edges in wisteria ink. So I didn't make you watch me do all that, but you can see the pile. I'm almost through all of them. I went ahead, and I'm also doing the wreath that I'll end up stamping with the edges in wisteria, and I do the sprig of leaves here as well. And all that does is just really soften the edges of your stamped images, and I don't know, it kind of just makes it blend in better. Kind of the whole feel is that distressed edge thing. And I'm going to glue this back panel down, But because I'm going to cut a circle in it, I'm only going to do the edges around the top and then the bottom half that's going to be on it. I'm leaving that top half open so that it'll be adhered to the back panel, but when I cut the circles out, they'll all be loose and I can use them on another project. So here I have cut that off camera, and I use painter's tape to hold my dies down. And now I made a frame off camera with 2 nestled circles, and I did that out of the silver foil paper just because I thought it would give it some balance, and just, you know, who doesn't like extra shine on a project? And I did cut a big snowflake out of the center of that, so instead of saving that circle to be used on a different project, I just cut a snowflake out of it. And actually you could use the snowflake that's cut out of that circle on a project too. That would be kind of cool. So here I'm just gluing the sides of the box together, and then I'm going to fold the edges in and glue the front to the little flaps that we left on when we did our scoring and cutting. You can see that. So you just put glue right on those flaps and hold it in place. And I'm just making sure that the corners all align up and match, and then I'm just varnishing it down with my bone folder. And here I'm putting the 2 side pieces on, and you can decorate this however you want. You can put a ribbon around it, and like I said earlier, these would be great if you decorated them, let's say, with a spring themed paper or bright colors, and then put seed packets in it. Or if you know a gardener, you could put for plants. Oh, I'm showing you here, if your paper sticks inside your dies, what I found an easy and kind of fun way, satisfying way to get them out is you just kind of drop them on my mat and they flip right out. So if you missed that, you can back up a little bit and watch that again. And here I'm just stamping my wreath with the matching, my die with the matching wreath, and I use the rosemary ink. And I'm showing here all of my shimmer brushes. I got that glass container, it's like a vase for candles, at the Dollar Tree, and it sits on my desk with all of my shimmer brushes, because you need to put your shimmer brushes so that they're standing with the brush end up, and it just works really well. And here I used green apple and wisteria to color the leaves of that wreath. And I grabbed another little scrap of paper from the Wonderland along with the tag from the Build a Tag. And I'm just gonna kind of have fun and decorate this little tag. And this, I'm showing you the shimmer trim. In the move, it got squished. And so I've been trying to use it up, and for projects like this that I only need kind of short pieces for, I don't need a full card front or even a scrapbook front, it works out really well. And I don't show this, but I hadn't kept the plastic long enough on that shimmer trim, but now it is. So the next time I go to use it, it'll be real easy to peel off. And I realized that I hadn't shimmered up this sprig that goes on top of the wreath, so I went ahead and grabbed the green apple and the wisteria again, and I decided I wanted to pop dot that up. So through the magic of video editing, I have the pop dot tape right on there already, and then I'm going to gently place it on the front of the card. I don't want that pop tape to adhere yet, so I'm just making sure that it was where the wreath was behind it. And then I'm kind of dry fitting, because I just want to see how things are going to come together and what they're going to look like. So I'm dry fitting the different snowflakes, and then I realize I need the one on the left on the front down and the other one up, just because of the 2 snowflakes that are there on the left. So just using some liquid glue, I'm adhering the snowflake on there. I'll put the wreath on there finally now. And like I said, these actually come together very quickly. You can also assembly line style them in that, you know, get your base pages and cut and score and do all those, and then get all of your embellishing pieces and have those all cut and ready to go. If you want to do the inked edges, you can. If you want to keep it simple, just don't even do that. And then assemble and and tie everything together and then fill it up. So I grabbed this stamp set called Funny Secret Santa, and I love it was either this or socks. So I'm going to grab that stamp, but it also says shaking me will reveal nothing and Christmas calories don't count, which of course is awesome. And then we have just a Christmas tree, and I thought about using that, but I liked this. It was either this or socks. So I'm going to cut that out into its own little sentiment, and then I'm going to attach it to this tag almost like a separate little dangle. I rounded the corners there, and then it was too crisp. So I realized about now when I'm punching the hole that it was just too crisp. It needed to be ink distressed. So I got the wisteria ink out and my mini blender brush again and just did the edges with that wisteria. So this is DMC floss that actually came from my mother-in-law's stash. So I'm using it up. It's just a light gray floss. And I'm going to tie this together. And I thought I was going to do something different with it. And then I realized that I wanted it really tight to the top of the circle. So that's how I did it. And I have 5 spiced apple packets in here. And I think you could easily fit 6 in. If you haven't subscribed, here's one more chance to do that. I'm going to link the video for the Makers with Heart project that I did, and then that also will show you all the other Maker with Heart video that we did earlier this month in case you're looking for some craft fair items. Have a blessed day. Thank you.